Today I have with me a very special guest. This is my good friend, colleague, individual, spirit guide, human, Brandon Maxwell. Hey, Brandon.
Hello, Sawyer. Pleasure to be here.
Oh, man, I'm so happy to have you here. We're having a good time today, but I want to... I don't want to, like, give too much away. Let's just say Brandon is someone who, for fun, does something that I wouldn't do if you paid me. So, Brandon, what do you do?
Do like a bunch of rock climbing, ice climbing, stuff like that.
Ice climbing. What is ice climbing? Well, I think we've all heard of rock climbing. I think we've all heard of people going to their gym and putting on their little dusty on the thingies and going on the walls and climbing up and having a good time. What is different about what you do?
Oh man, so it's crazy because it's all ice is a whole, forming thing. It changes every day. It's all temperature based.
Oh wow, I never thought about that.
Condition based. It's not like a rock where, it's permanent and it always has, specific features on it that you can memorize. It's changing and breathing.
So it's not, so you're not just looking at a rock face and thinking about, it's the rock face that someone climbed 20 years ago is going to be the rock face that you climb today.
Thing that you climb today.
But when you approach a face that you climb
of ice, yeah,
it could be different while you climb it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Has it ever happened to you?
Oh, yeah, it's a complete thing that, ice breaks, as you're swinging, pieces of ice are falling down, things are shifting around you, water's, running underneath you, you swing your pick or kick your foot and you end up going into a water pocket and it's no longer ice and you have no stability there, sort of deal, so.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's a very scary thing.
So just to reiterate here, my good friend Brandon Maxwell here, he's a rock climber. He's let's just say climber. Let's say climber because rock does not even cover exactly what you do. So so climbing and this man does it. It's not a hobby. It's not a weekend event. It's not something he does to get away from the kids.
It's like a nice, fun, masochistic thing to do.
This is what this guy does. Brandon here, he climbs. He puts himself in situations that, like I said, you couldn't pay me to do. And I
think we could pay you enough to do it.
Oh, to my next point, I'm someone who gets, my heart rate rises when I cross the street and I don't have the cross street signal.
My heart races when I'm not wearing yellow and I cross the street.
So that even that blows my mind even more. So what state of mind do you get yourself into when you are climbing up a face that is not only sub-zero temperatures, it's changing, it's slippery, it's genuinely dangerous? What state of mind gets you there?
Dude, so I don't know, it kind of changes day to day too, because you may wake up one morning and you feel great, you wake up the next morning and you're kind of achy, sore. It's all a mental perspective that you have to put on it when you approach these things. It's kind of weird because there's been times where I've gotten myself ready and I'm so psyched in the morning and I go out and then I get there and then the first 10 feet of the climb I realize that then I'm shit, I'm not entirely ready for this. And, that's something you got to kind of overcome while if you hadn't prior to that, you got to overcome it while you're in the moment kind of doing it.
So let's talk about that. So you do have a pre-mental psych up period before you get...
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
It's even not even the morning. Sometimes most of the time it's the night before.
Oh, okay. So it takes days. So tell me what that process is like.
So it's if I am setting my mind to go this is a specific climb that I want to do this weekend or this day of the week, I'm kind of leading up to it, thinking, going through in my head, I'm okay, what's the temperature look like? I'm checking out the temperature, the few days before.
The logistical things.
Yeah, the logistical things, and then, just, making sure, maybe the day before, making sure, my crampons are sharp and, my ice axes
Wait, your what?
My crampons.
What's a crampon?
So it's, it's these, spikes that you put on your boots that, specifically, because you can't just, climb ice with your boots on. You need, a spiky thing to stick into the ice.
Oh, it cramps onto your foot.
Yeah,
it's what gives you...
And you literally, kick into the ice.
And see, here I thought you were crazy enough to just go at it with your bare feet.
Oh, yeah, right? I mean, you could. I've seen it.
See, I hate that.
My buddy did it once, and it actually went way better than I thought it was.
But... I don't like your buddy now.
Yeah.
He's insane. He's awesome. He's insane. So you're psyching yourself up. You're thinking the logistics. what do you have to is there like a not just like a logistical thinking about it mode that you have to put into? What do you have to do to get yourself spiritually ready for this daring event?
Oh, dude, yeah, it's definitely a lot. It's like kind of the first thing that pops in my head. I'm like, is this going to specifically be worth it? Is me completing this climb going to be worth like the danger that I'm going to put?
A little cost analysis there.
Yeah, for sure. And then most of the time, usually actually all the time thus far, it's like I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. It's totally going to be worth it.
Okay.
And like, not to say that hasn't put me in a
so that is
situation-
most of the time. That is most of the time.
Oh yeah, for sure. And not to say that hasn't put me in a situation where I shouldn't have been in, but you know, I've gotten through it.
But you got through it. So tell me about a situation where you sat there and you were like, uh-oh, I should not have gotten here.
So like the whole premise of it, of like ice climbing specifically, is like the only way that you can like protect yourself is by placing, there's these like little screws that you put in the ice. So you like, it has these tips on them, and you put the screw against the ice and you twist it with your hand until it gains, you know, it like gets a hole started for you, and then you crank it in, and like that's what you attach yourself to as you climb up. So like
that's it?
Yeah, that's it. So it's like your judgment, your own safety and protection is based on your judgment call of how thick that ice is, you know, like what the texture of the ice is the area that you're putting your protection in, like concave or convexed, and like all while, you know, the wind's whipping, you know, snow's falling, and you're fucking freezing, you know?
So that's a big part about the, not only like the logistics, the psyching yourself up, the cost analysis, is at the end of the day, what it really is you trust your judgment.
Yeah, it's very much a judgment decision.
And you have to trust it 100%.
You have to trust it.
And you gotta trust it. And that's a big part of overcoming that fear, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely, man. And I mean, when you're standing above your last piece of protection and you're kind of shaking, you're cold, like you can't feel your fingers, and like, you know, like you can't fall. You don't want to fall. If you fall, like you could break the ice, and like that's
worse.
the entire thing that you're on, you know? Yeah, like the ice breaks, you're going down with it, you know?
Jeez.
It's all a very delicate thing that you just, I don't know, man, when I'm scared, like I know when I get scared, like my hands will start shaking, my legs start shaking,
and that's
can't breathe,
and that's while you're doing it.
That's while you're doing it.
And that's so you've overcome the hurdle of getting on there.
Yep.
And then you're up there, and then a fear grips you that you hadn't even maybe, you know, prepared
I didn't know
for.
It was gonna come. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I thought I had it in the bag.
And
you know?
and how do you walk yourself through that then?
So it's like different every time, you know. It's crazy. Like the first few times it happened, I was scared shitless. But like all I wanted to do was just like try to down climb, you know, get the fuck off, you know. But it just, you just kind of gotta, like, how I find to work my way through it is just, you know, kind of like breathe deep and accept the fact that, you know, I put myself in this position. Like I wouldn't be here if I didn't think prior to being here that I was capable of doing this. And rather than let, like, you know, your immediate surroundings depict like my feeling in general, I try to think of like the bigger picture. I'm like, I know I can do this, you know, like I wouldn't be up here if I didn't think that I could do it in the first place.
Right. You got there, you can get yourself out. And so let me ask, has there ever been, what is the scariest situation you've been in?
Oh man. So like ice is collapsing all the time, you know, like
yeah.
When you know, specifically the things that we're trying to climb are like little channels in rock that are just, you know, filled with water, and the person who's belaying you're chopping at ice, and blocks of ice are coming down the size of, you know, textbooks or refrigerators, like,
Jesus,
you
that
know,
can, even like, that alone can hurt you.
Oh, that could kill you, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Good
and
Lord.
I mean, like you get hit by them sometimes, like when you're swinging your axes.
Oh, it's happened.
When you swing your axes above you, I've had, like, you know, pieces of ice the size of a textbook, fall off, like hit you in the shoulder, hit you in the head, like, and you just kind of, and you got to take that, you know, because you're just on the ice, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. You've got bigger things to worry about.
Yeah, it's way bigger than that, man. Yeah.
Jesus. And so something like that is probably like the closest you've come to like real danger.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. There's been times where, you know, I'm not an expert at all, and, you know, I'd love to do it, and I'd like to get out with people.
Well, you do more than most people I know would do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've gone out with friends who are, you know, done some done some ropeless things where like I would never be up there, without a rope on me at all.
Oh, I feel like the rope is more just to give yourself a little bit of
it's
a good psych training. Yeah. You psych yourself up a little bit there. But I mean, exactly the real danger happens when you're doing it. Not like the preparation, not what you do to prevent things. It's always what happens and you don't expect. That's the real danger.
Every single time. Yeah,
every time.
Because then, like I said before too, it's like you may have started the morning and it's 20 degrees out. By the time you're actually halfway up the climb, it's 11 o'clock and it's sunny on it, and the ice is like
suddenly start melting a bit there.
And it's melting off the wall, and pieces are falling. They're falling on you. They're falling on the person belaying you.
So other than that, tell me some more specific pitfalls that happen on your journey up this ice face.
Oh man, screaming barfies.
Tell me about the screaming barfies. I gotta know what a screaming fucking barfie is, dude.
It's like
I gotta know.
Thing to say, like you can just like throw it.
Those are some cool words.
Yeah, it's like two words that just sound so good together.
Oh, terrifying yet titillating.
Yeah. So basically it's just like you lose feeling in your fingertips and like your extremities, like toes and fingers.
Reasonable, it's ice.
Yeah, yep. So it's usually your extremities, and then you try to shake your hands out, like your hands are getting cold or your feet are cold, so you shake a little bit
to get some blood flow going.
Yeah, or like hit your hands, and try to get some blood flow. But it comes back so quick, the blood leaves your heart so quickly that like you get like a tingling and like pin sensation.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
but it's like very extreme, and I mean like these climbs when you're climbing 150 feet of ice, like a single pitch or whatever, it doesn't take 5 minnits. It takes a half hour.
So
minutes. Your hands are in contact. It could be a running stream of water.
That's ice burn, whatever. Like
frostbite.
Frostbite. It's like frostbite. You're getting frostbite up there.
Like what it is.
Yeah, you're getting frostbite.
And then you just try to bring some blood back, but
and you do it too quick.
Yeah, you do it too quick, and then it gives you this like extreme like tingling, like painful sensation.
Why is it called the screaming barfies?
So like it hurts so bad, dude. I don't even know how to describe it unless you like actually get it, but it just it hurts so bad.
Sounds bad.
It sounds like it feels like when you breathe, like your chest is hollow and cold, and then like your fingers are also like you're touching like a bunch of needles with them, and they're hot, but like they're cold, but they feel hot, and then like it hurts, so like you're like you're always like yelling, you're like just like and then like it just gives you the chest sensation, just makes you feel like you want to puke.
I think
it happens to like everybody, man. You could ask like any ice
you get used to it.
Yeah, you kind of do though.
I think you just said all those words describing that were like the words to some emo song somewhere.
We could fix that.
And then I puked with my hands in my mouth.
Exactly.
Yo, those are some brutal words you just spoke to me, and you choose to do this.
Oh yeah.
And you choose to do this,
dude. It's exciting, man.
It's exciting.
It's exciting.
Despite the fear, despite the pain, even.
Despite the pain, even, yeah, and despite like the anxiety of like what you ate for breakfast, and you might have to poop while you're climbing.
Like in the middle of winter. Even just the small banal things that you think aren't a part of it are absolutely.
You like double bacon, egg, and cheeses, but like
and that's adversity for you. It comes, and if you're not ready, who gives a fuck? It's coming.
You wipe your ass with an icicle.
There you go. Well, if you had to say anything to anyone right now trying to overcome a fear, what would it be?
I would say just, think about the position that you're in, and, it's feels kind of crippling in the moment that you're in it, it like feels, but if you just take like 3 deep breaths and just kind of just really think about it more than like outside the room that you're in, sort of deal.
Scream and barf a little.
Yeah, you could scream and barf a little,
And you'll get through it.
Yeah, and you'll absolutely get through it,
Absolutely. Brandon, thank you so much for coming here and talking about what you do. It's absurd, and I love it. But
I'm loving being here to be able to talk about it, man.
Dude, thank you so much, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love you very much.
Yeah, you too.
Come here. All right. That's Brandon Maxwell, dude. Go look him up. First Tracks B Max on Instagram. Sounds exactly like it is. I'm going to put up on the screen. First Tracks B Max. First Tracks Brandon Maxwell. If you want to see some daring do's and awesome views, this is your man. He's right here.
That was really good.
Oh, dude. Honestly, I think
that could be like the ending to a book. Like that's all that's written on the last page.
Well, then we'll end it on that.